Hey, what is going on, everyone? Today we have another roster review to go over. This time it's going to be for Capitaine C, who, because of playing a lot on BlueStacks, provided me with roster video clips rather than photos because of the difficulty of not being able to flip your BlueStacks or your computer into vertical position. Unless you can, and please let me know if you're someone who plays on BlueStacks and you actually know how to change your roster into the vertical position, because I don't even know how to do that either. But anyways, without further ado, let's get this review started. Alright, and to start things off here, this roster we're looking at is roughly around 225 days played and approximately 350 Canadian dollars spent, which is probably around 250 US dollars or so. His main goals are including arena teams, which he does have a decent starting out right now, Dark Dimension 3 and Do More, if I remember which ones those are specifically. Sometimes I forget the traits for each of the lanes or the segments of Do More, and possibly for raids as well, so I'll try to keep those in mind when I go over the roster. And I do want to say, again, he provided me with sort of video clips of his roster rather than screenshots, so we're gonna have to go over that one by one just to check out each of the characters that he has in his roster. So let's jump on over there. And before we get started, actually really quick, yeah, so looking at his arena team that he has, I see Emma Frost, Captain Marvel, Black Bolt, Crystal, and Yo-Yo. So this isn't too bad here. I think probably Emma Frost and Black Bolt can stay. I think we're going to need to look at his roster a little bit more to see if there's any replacements we can do with Captain Marvel, possibly Quake and, why do I keep saying Quake? Crystal and Yo-Yo, but really it'll depend on what else we have there in the roster. So let's jump on over to these video clips and see if we can make some sense of this. Alright, so let's get this roster review actually started. So this is the first clip that Capitaine had given me, and there's 5 of them total just to show all of his roster characters. Now, let's see, actually, let's scroll this back up a little bit. So at the top, it looks like, so far so good, actually. That's really 7 red Crystal. That's really lucky. So that kind of explains, I guess, why Crystal is in the arena, which isn't too bad. If you want to take Crystal up a little bit further, maybe getting to level 75 or higher, and that'll bump her stats up. Keep in mind that post 75, so 76 to 80, characters all get a base stat increase of like 2 to 3% per level, I'm pretty sure. So it is actually worth it, whereas level 71 to 75 largely is focus and resistance related. Crystal could actually benefit from that as well, but I think that if you really want to take her further, then level 76 to 80 will provide you with that extra stat boost if you're looking for, and of course for everyone else, Black Bolt and so on. So it looks like I see a level 76 Hela, and that's another thing I want to mention about arena characters, the team that you're using for your arena. You're going to want to make them as strong as possible, and that means both gear tier and level. So if you do have spare gold lying around, which I know not everyone does, then usually recommend doing that for your arena team. In terms of other characters, though, obviously I think Captain Marvel is probably someone that you're going to want to consider replacing for arena, but let's see as we go further down if there's any other considerations. Yo-Yo, the only problem with Yo-Yo really is that she's not farmable, and she's, again, in that premium orb 2%, which isn't great, and not a really great way to farm her and sort of get her power up even further, although it looks like you're tier 13. Not sure if I consider taking her to gear tier 14 for Dark Dimension. She's Dark Dimension 3+. She's okay, but I mean, she is a global character, and at that point, Ghost is probably a better character. So let's scroll down a little bit further. Everything looks so far so good, though. There's an Emma Frost that's 76k. By the way, my head's probably in the way. We do have Symbian Spider-Man here at 58. Sorry, almost 60k here, level 70. Definitely another character that you're going to want to gear up more. So definitely get Symbian Spider-Man to level 75, gear tier 14, because he's going to be a really essential member of Dark Dimension 3 City Lane, and of course he's a really strong contender for the raid Symbia team that you're probably going to want to build up eventually because it's a really top tier. Otherwise we have Ultron sitting at tier 13. I don't know if I'd really invest in him too much further into tier 14 at this moment. I think in terms of Dark Dimension, if we want to consider that, I think there's much better choices than him because he's very gear hungry. He needs 5 sets of mini uniques, so I would consider someone else instead of him. Now scrolling down to the bottom, looks like there's some lag here on my end. Oh, there's some problems here with my screen. There we go. Fixing that. So we do have a Sinister. My head's in the way. He's 51k, 4 red, 4 yellow. I think that's gear tier 12. Looking at the purple background there. He is a character I would recommend building up to gear tier 14 for Dark Dimension 3. I think he's very important for the global lane and also for Dark Dimension 4 going forward. So he's a character that you're definitely going to want. And of course, depending on where you're at in the game, Cull Obsidian is going to be someone that you're going to want to level up. It looks like you have a 4-star, which is great, and possibly buying a Void Red down the line with your silver promotion credits. I haven't seen Ebony. I think Ebony Maw's down there, is he? So I don't know if you do have Ebony Maw unlocked or not, or Phoenix. Actually, we haven't gotten there yet. Looks like we do have Ebony Maw. So for that matter, I would recommend building up the Black Order. I would say probably if you can, and actually maybe forget what I said about Arena, but Black Order is the creme de la creme for Arena. So if you want to start building them up, they are the best of the best. And really they deserve to be tier 13, tier 14, and tier 15 because they're going to get you really far in Arena for cores, which is super important to be competitive. The more cores you have, the more flexibility you have in terms of what you can use them for. So if you do have all 5 characters, really at this point you should probably be putting as much of your resources in my opinion, to the Black Order for your Arena. They also work really well in Dark Dimension 3 and beyond as well, so particularly Thanos, Ebony Maw, and Proxima Midnight. Those are 3 really good characters to have at the beginning of your Dark Dimension 3 run, and of course they're going to work very well going into Dark Dimension 4. So I would definitely recommend right now trying to invest in them, getting them up as high as possible. Looks like you only have them in the level 60s range. Definitely put a lot of resource into them. I think that they're going to do really well. Also see Anti-Venom here at level 62. Again, another character that's going to be really important for raids if you want to build up that Symbia team, which is really top tier, and he's not too bad of a possible choice for Dark Dimension 3 City, although personally I'm in favor of the tried and true Symbian Spider-Man, Carnage, and Venom. Those are really the only characters you really need to get through Dark Dimension 3 City, but in terms of Dark Dimension 4, which I know is going to be a little bit further down the line for you, you know, the required characters for that for the city lane is going to be a little bit different because they're all bio, so you're probably going to want to start with Symbian Spider-Man, but from then on, there's a little bit flexibility in terms of what you can do for that. I mean, there's only a few people that's even gone through the city lane of Dark Dimension 4, so take that with a grain of salt, and probably by the time that you get there, things are going to be changed up a little bit anyway, so I'm not going to talk about too much about DD4. But for DD3, I would consider some of these characters here that you have: Thanos, Ebony Maw, Corvus Glaive, even level up the, Proxima Midnight, but Corvus Glaive, Cull Obsidian. These are all 5 of these Black Order characters. Even though Thanos isn't Black Order, he basically is. You're going to want to consider these for Arena. I think this is probably a better investment in terms of your resource because they can punch up quite heavily against some of the existing teams and non-Black Order teams as well. And I suspect as you move further into the top 50 in Arena, you're going to start seeing a lot of Black Order. If you already have Ebony Maw, chances are other people in your shard probably do as well. So Karnak, that's interesting. 5-star, so I guess you unlocked Ebony Maw without having to use Karnak at all, even just enough to unlock him. This Marvel as well, so I'm a bit surprised. I'm kind of wondering if you maybe sold this with Black Bolt. But otherwise, that's the end of that clip here. Let's jump on over to the second one that we should have here, and see if there's anything different there that I can recommend. Alright, so this is the next page here, and so we have Nobu, Okoye, Strife. Strife is another really important character that I would like to recommend for Dark Dimension 3 these days. A lot of you guys have probably already heard me talk about Strife and how I recommend him for Dark Dimension 3 now, only because when we're talking about moving into Dark Dimension 4, Strife shares the same superior unique, the titanium alloy, that Colossus does. Now, Colossus loses a lot of value in Dark Dimension 4 because you can't use Phoenix alongside him in the global lane, whereas with Strife, you can still use him with Emma Frost and with Mr. Sinister for Dark Dimension 3 and Dark Dimension 4, so there is that synergy that the Marauders have together there. Not to mention they work really well in, potentially in Arena as well, but that's probably not where you're going to use them, but in Alliance War Defense. So Strife is another character that I would, you have 5 red for him already, so that's really good. So I would consider building him up a bit higher, get him prepped for Dark Dimension 3 Global, but I would do that after probably Phoenix and Emma Frost and possibly Mr. Sinister. You don't necessarily need a tank right out of the gate, but he should be probably a 4th or 5th member consideration for that. I haven't seen Ghost yet, but that's another character that you're going to want to consider for Dark Dimension 3 Global and probably going forward into Dark Dimension 4 as well. Now, for other characters, I do see a Scream 50k that looks pretty good for raid considerations. You just want to build up your symbiotes overall. Most of them are bio, though, or all of them are bios, so that's going to be a bit tough, and especially if you don't have them all up to gear tier 12 or above, then it's going to take a bit of gear resources. And I would recommend leveling up your characters in terms of your level. I see a lot of your characters under level 70 that you're working up. Scream here 63. Try to get them all up to at least level 70, because that's where your stack growths are going to come from, is up to level 70. Beyond level 70, when you hit 71 to 75, that's largely a focus on resistance boost, like I said, but up to 70 is all base stats, so you're going to want to build those up, especially for these characters that you have at 4 and 5 red star. They're going to really take advantage of these levels, so try to put any extra gold resources in these characters that you're investing in up to the appropriate levels as well. And I do want to say, for those people who are above level 75, you also get more stat boosts past level 75 too, so if you're really, putting some serious resources into them, consider that as well, especially your arena team and your raid teams. So let's move on. Looks like so far so good. I don't know why my there we go. I don't know why my thing does this, my media player. So maybe I'll just fast forward it myself here so that it doesn't happen. Nothing else really sticks out. I see a Baron Zemo down there, but are we gonna get to that? Okay, so Carnage level 61, 5-star. So I mean, in terms of the symbiotes that you're using, it looks like we have scroll backing a bit. Looks like we have Scream somewhere here. So Scream, Symbian Spider-Man, Anti-Venom. I don't know where your Carnage and Venom are, but in terms of Dark Dimension 3, because that's what you said that you wanted me to look at, those are the three and actually Venom's down here, sorry. So Carnage and Venom and Symbian Spider-Man are the most important members for Dark Dimension 3 City. You can make an argument for the others. I just think that you don't really need to. So if you picked up Symbian Spider-Man first, took him to gear tier 14, really you can actually just beat the game mode with him and Carnage alone. I've done it, and you don't actually need the others. It's just the Venom or any of the other symbiotes would just push it along a little bit faster. But it is actually doable with just Symbian Spider-Man and Carnage. So do keep that in mind. You're going to want to consider getting Carnage's gear up a little bit higher once you get towards Dark Dimension 3. Of course, he is bio as well. Baron Zemo, another amazing character. I would consider gearing him up as well. Not necessarily for Dark Dimension 3. He is someone that I plan on taking into Dark Dimension 4 actually, but that's because I've invested quite a bit into him and he is a skill character. There's not a lot of amazing skill characters, so Baron Zemo gets that for me. He's got a solid kit as a standalone character and I really, really love him, so he's going to be going in for me anyways, but whether or not you want to, that's entirely up to you as well. Scrolling down through the rest though, nothing that really stands out at me. Let's click on, oops, wrong window here. Let's click on over to the third clip that we have and see if there's any new things here. Alright, looks like we got, oops, didn't mean that. Bullseye, nope, what happened? Next clip, there we go. Okay, oh god, what am I doing? Sorry guys. Okay, I screwed that up a couple times. Okay, we got Bullseye. Nothing really fancy pops out at me here that's really worth building. Just kind of wanting to check out some of the red stars that you have on some of these characters. Negasonic, yeah, nothing really. I mean, you said your priorities are Dark Dimension 3, raids, and Doom War. I do want to point out that I think the last time I talked to you, that you were going through Doom War up to 1.6, so for 1.9, which is actually the Negasonic farm node, if you're thinking about Doc Ock down the line, you're gonna need Fantastic Four and possibly Nick Fury if you have him, or other Wave 1 Avengers, I believe it is. Or Avengers, Wave 1 Avengers, 1.9. So Fantastic Four might be a consideration for overall gearing up for not Dark Dimension, sorry, for Doom War. I don't know if we actually ran across them or not, though. I see a lot of them down here. I don't even know if you have Invisible Woman geared up or not. I didn't really see her. And then, so I just wanted to point out that. Doesn't look like it. Let's scroll down to the end. Mr. Fantastic. I haven't even seen Invisible Woman unless I was blind. Let's jump on over to the next video, actually. So maybe that was the first one. I screwed this up here. Let's open up the fourth one. This is the fourth clip here. This is a bit unorthodox method of me doing this. I don't normally do this via video clip, so my apologies to everyone else who's watching. We do have Colossus here, so he's not leveled up very well. So I suspect that I haven't even seen Phoenix actually, so I don't know where you are in terms of Phoenix, but I would definitely make sure that you unlock her because she's very important for Dark Dimension 3. So you know, whenever the next pass for her is, I don't actually know off the top of my head, but I would make sure that you're ready for that because she really helps for Dark Dimension 3. You have Ghost here who is at 4 yellow, 4 red here, but you don't have her geared up. If you're looking to get a break-in into Dark Dimension 3, you could possibly use Ghost as a stand-in before Phoenix if you need to, and definitely you have Ebony Maw as well. So these are two characters that you can actually use despite not seeing Phoenix, which is a bit surprising. Given your your roster progress is a bit different than a lot of people's I've seen. So you have Ebony Maw, but I haven't necessarily seen Phoenix. I don't even know if you have Phoenix, but you do have Ghost. Definitely get Ghost up, ready to go for Dark Dimension 3 if that's what you're wanting to do. Because she's going to be really important for those first 8 nodes in Dark Dimension 3. So I'm kind of curious who's left to see here. Let's jump on over to the last clip that I haven't opened up. And I know this is a bit hard for me to do here. This isn't the usual method I would probably look at people. I'm assuming if I don't see Phoenix here that you don't actually have her. So I'm trying to looking at, yeah, it looks like you don't. I'm kind of surprised that you don't have Phoenix unlocked, but you do have Ebony Maw. Normally people end up getting Phoenix before Ebony Maw, but it appears not in this case. So you don't necessarily need Phoenix for Dark Dimension 3. She is very helpful, especially if you are using her alongside characters like Ebony Maw in the first 4 nodes and with Ghost as well, which will be very helpful. But do make sure that you get Ghost up to Gear Tier 14 because you do have 4 yellow, 4 red, and that'll be very important for that, and a very good person to take in there that will actually help you a lot. So make sure you do that. I don't think there's anyone else here though that really sticks out to me that you need to get right now. Nice red pulls on the yellow jacket, by the way, but I don't know if he's all that important. The Pimtech characters kind of fell flat for me at the moment, unfortunately. You do have some actually decent red star pulls on other characters. Scrolling back, so yeah, I mean, to be honest, will this work? Can I do this? Okay, yes, there isn't a lot of other characters I would recommend, so Ghost is definitely one here. Let's scroll back and recap all of the characters that I would recommend. So Ghost for sure, make sure you build her. Nothing else really on this page for that I remember. Yeah, let's jump back. Can we do this? Will this work? Will this work? I don't know. I don't normally do this. Oh wait, my game was lagging? Okay, so this is the 3rd clip. And so who on this page would I recommend? Nobody, I think. I don't think there was anyone worth recommending here on this. The second, can we jump back? This is the 2nd clip as well. And Strife. Definitely recommend building Strife up a little bit more. Scream a little bit more when you can as part of that Symbius group. And let's see, Baron Zemo, a possible consideration, and obviously Carnage. As for that Dark Dimension 3 City, you're going to want him up there as well. Venom possibly, but for the 2nd round of Dark Dimension 3. But really, if you're, depending on how comfortable you are with your existing raid team, I'm still a big fan of the Symbius team. I think they work really well. I do have a backup team, a raid team that does consist of Black Bolt and a couple, Ebony Maw, Thanos, and some other sort of meta characters. But I do use my Symbius as my main raid team. But you may or may not need to, so that's entirely up to you if you need to or not. And then moving back to the first page as well, let's recap here. Emma Frost is a Gear Tier 14, so that's good. So in terms of global characters, we're okay here. I would say in terms of arena though, just to recap, Black Order really I think is going to be king of the castle for some time, and especially for your arena shard, which isn't probably as advanced as mine is, so I would really consider putting up as much gear as possible into your Black Order team. Other characters, Symbian Spider-Man obviously to Gear Tier 14, Sinister possibly to 14 as well. Invisible Woman actually is here, so I thought she was off, but that my bad on that one. And the rest of the Black Order should have some of your gear investment as well, and make sure you have Ebony Maw to 14 as well, because you're going to need him at the start of Dark Dimension 3 since you don't have Phoenix. So Ebony Maw alongside Ghost is going to be really important to your Dark Dimension 3 progress. Other than that, there's nothing really too much other I would recommend. So Symbiotes where you can, Black Order where you can, Ghost, and some of the other characters that I mentioned before. I can't remember all the ones I mentioned, but specifically those off the top of my head is kind of what you're going to need to look at. So I hope that some of this was helpful, guys, both for you, Capitaine, and for anyone else watching this video. Otherwise, if this wasn't clear enough, then please get at me in Discord, and I can do some follow-ups and help you guys in person as well. So that's going to be the end of this roster review here, and again, I hope it helped. Until next time, guys, stay safe, and I'll see y'all later. Boylan signing out.